Well, good afternoon, Whisperers. It's so good to be here this afternoon. I hope you all are ready for our post show. I'm always excited to have you guys here. I'm just kind of making sure that we're live and everything. I noted that we're having some trouble with our Facebook group, I was told. So, from StreamYard. So we're not able to stream into Facebook. So I do apologize with regards to that. Happy Friday. Welcome into our session and all. So, with that being said, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to lead right into this. And so, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Whispers in a Bottle, Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays, the post show. My name is Sonya LaRae. I'm a lifestyle relationship counselor, fashion psychologist, educator, holistic health and wellness consultant, and motivational speaker. And I'm always so excited because we just wrapped our show at 3 p.m. over on blogtalkradio.com/whispers in a bottle. And I have to tell you, today's show was so powerful because we literally leaned into the topic of identifying the impact of ego on relationships. And so, our post show is always kind of connecting different elements of the show that the pre-show and the show touched on. And I always tell you guys that each show gives us a different feeling, a different topic, and everything. So today, I really wanted to kind of lean in and tap in, understanding love's role in transcending the ego. And a lot of times when I do this, I touched on it a little bit inside of the show, just a tad, but this is something that I wanted to leave for here. And I also have a powerful exercise that I'm going to be sharing with you all to have you gauge whether you're leading with ego or love in your relationship. So, no time for like the best to just let's jump in with both feet. And look, you know that this is interactive. The comments are always live. I'm looking at your comments. I love to be able to kind of pour into them. So please do not hesitate. Feed into it. That's your space and your place with me. And I really love to monitor a great chat box. So, love often is viewed as, I guess, the alter or the difference of ego, like it's the reverse side of the ego, and it's a force that compels us to prioritize our well-being of others over our own desires and insecurities. And that's the one area that I really kind of wanted to lean into with this discussion. And this discussion was so big and so powerful. Matter of fact, let me go over here and pull the notes, matter of fact, that I made, because I want to give us the two definitions that we got inside of the discussion, because I wanted to kind of correlate with what we're talking about here this afternoon. So the two words that we got the clear meaning and understanding of inside the show was the word identity, establish or indicate who or what someone or something is. And the second one was impact, to collide, crash, smash. So that is a huge two very different kind of ways and two different textures that we're dealing with inside of this dynamic thing called the ego. So when we approach relationships with love, we actually get to shift our focus from self-serving motivations to genuine desires to connect, support, and uplift our partners. And this shift in mindset allows us to transcend the ego's influence and create space for empathy, compassion, and mutual respect. And a lot of times when we talk about ego, that is what is withheld, the mutual respect, because it's always forcing one's feelings and opinions over someone else. It made me think of this, and as I was signing off, I said, "Oh, I'm not going to forget this," and I wrote it down real quick on a sticky. That it made me think of like a dictatorship, and a lot of the no, we have Nelson popped in over here in the corner over here, the Zoom room for Facebook group, so it was it's kind of like but it made me think of a dictatorship. And when there's a dictatorship, there's nobody else's thoughts, opinions, feelings, or emotions put into place except for that dictator. How they see things, how they want things, what's going to happen, what their personal needs are over anyone else. And so much like the ego, that's what that beast is voracious. It's hungry for. It's constantly looking for its best interest without even taking anyone or anything into consideration. And love, it does, it's a transformative power that transcends the ego, fosters deep connections, empathy, understanding between partners. And so many times when we put that place or that space of love in it, it actually starts to heal areas that have been broken and manipulated. And so, I always tell you all that I come in and I want to kind of really get into us being able to lean into certain things of our discussion. And I want us to be assessing our relationship with love and ego. So I want us to get into the kind of our exercise this afternoon. That's really what I wanted to kind of lean in on this discussion this afternoon, is really the exercise. So to gauge whether you're leading with ego or love. And I want you to try the exercise. I want you to sit with it for a minute. And even if you want to do it with your partner, that you guys take this and then come back and see what you get, or how it works out, or what it is in that space, or where you need to work on certain elements. Don't be afraid to work on them, because that is what's going to start to heal and mend that broken area. So if you're thinking about repairing the house and your relationship is that house, or repairing the brand that you're building on your relationship, it means that you have to audit what's inside of that brand, or what's inside of that relationship, what's working from what isn't, what's depleting the worth or the value of the relationship. So that's where we gauge things when we do these types of exercises. So let's get into the first half of it, okay? So first, reflect on your motivations. Sit in a space and place and reflect on your motivations. Take a moment to reflect on your motivations and intentions in your interactions with your partner. How do you interact? What are your intentions? You know, um, what are your intentions and all? Are your actions driven by a desire for validation, control, self preservation? Now that's ego, all right? Or do they stem from a genuine desire to nurture, support, and connect with your partner? That's love. Okay? So, are your actions driven by a desire for validation, control, self preservation? That's ego. Or do they stem from a genuine desire to nurture, support, connect with your partner? That's love. So, reflect on your motivations. Take a moment to really examine the motivations and intentions in your interactions with your partner. And those are the two areas, the two questions that you need to be at. Are your actions driven by a desire for validation, control, or self preservation? Or do they stem from a genuine desire to nurture, support, and connect with your partner? So you got to look at that, do the work for it. The second part of it is examine your reactions. Now, this is a powerful one. I just want you all to realize this is very powerful because sometimes we're not aware of our reactions. And I told you all about Amy and TJ Holmes, that they actually, TJ was so clever. He actually recorded their interaction with regards to a situation that had arisen in their relationship. And he recorded them. And I told you that it was so, like, how they spoke into it was with such compassion and love and respect for each other. And it was just so beautiful. So sometimes maybe we need to record ourselves when we're interacting with each other so we can see what our reactions are. So you want to pay attention to how you react in moments of conflict, disagreements, moments of vulnerability within your relationship. So you're going to sit in a space and place. And like I said, you may want to try that recording. You may even say to your mate, you know what, when we have our next disagreement, just subtly just hit the record button on your phone so we can go back and listen to it on both sides of the table, how we sounded. Do you find yourself becoming defensive, dismissive, resentful? Do you find yourself becoming defensive, dismissive, or resentful or withdrawn? See, those are ego-driven reactions. Or do you approach these situations with empathy, understanding, a willingness to listen and compromise, or a willingness to hear what the person is saying and how it impacted them? So, do you approach it with the situation of empathy, understanding, a willingness to listen, to validate the feeling of that person, to say, okay, yes, I can see what you're saying. I was wrong because X, Y, and Z, and I'm sorry that I made you feel such and such. Now, well, when you said this, of course I felt like that, because see, then you're going over and dismissive and you're being in that defensive space and place. So if you're leading with empathy, understanding, willingness to listen, validate the person's feeling, that is love-driven responses. So where do you sit? See, this is a good exercise. This is a key element. This is what I wanted to share with you all, why I was inviting you to come over here from the pre-show, from the main show, and now here, because this exercise is dynamic. And I use this inside of my practice with clients too. The next question is this. The third question is this. I want you to, not even a question, it's how you're going to be looking at your relationship, how you're looking at the way that you handle things. I want you to assess your communications or how you communicate. Consider how you communicate with your partner on a day-to-day, on a daily basis. Do you prioritize open, honest communication even when it's uncomfortable or challenging? Do you prioritize open, honest communication even when it's uncomfortable and challenging? Because you know that's a love-driven communication style. Or do you resort to the passive aggressive behaviors, manipulation, avoidance, or dismission in a way that I just can't talk about that right now. I'm not in a good headspace, to protect your ego, to just make that person feel that you're always, that you lead with that. You're always. Do you resort to that passive aggressive behavior? Because if you do, that's ego-driven communication pattern. So you got to take stock of it. You got to look at it. So how do we combat the ego with love? How do we do it? So once you have identified areas where your ego may be influencing your relationship, it's time to take that proactive step to combat, I guess, that negative effect, or to embrace love as a guiding force. I like to always call it a beacon. I like that word beacon. I like to say beacon because literally it is the light force. It's that light that cuts through the darkness, that cuts through that heaviness, that allows us to show love and to show up in such a dynamic way for our partners. And it's not easy, and you're not always going to get it right. Even the best of the best, even therapists, they can even tell you sometimes that a reaction, and then they got to come back and be like, you know what, I'm really sorry. I did not mean to react to you in that way. I was just in not a good headspace. So let me hear what exactly you were saying. And even we are guilty of it too. So it's how you are actually working inside of that space of ego, or are you working in that space and place of love? Love is abundant, love is overflowing. And when you have love that is that beacon and that force, that guiding light, it can come in even when there's like sometimes that you deal with something in not such a great way, but it comes back in to validate the person, to go back over, apologize, to reassure them that, you know what, I did not mean to not hear you. I did not mean to say that your feelings were not important. Let's sit down and really talk about this. Let me hear what you were saying, and I apologize. And that's how we connect, and that's how we mend. And that is that beautiful thing of the identifying. We're establishing, we're in that place of indication. So we want to cultivate self-awareness. And all through our discussions from last season to this season, we see that introspective place and space that we need to be in. It has to transcend the ego by cultivating self awareness. If we're not willing to sit in a place of reflection, where we're reflecting on our thoughts, where we're reflecting on our feelings and the behaviors to identify any ego driven pattern that may be impacting our relationship, we cannot change, pivot, or shift. So by becoming aware of these tendencies, you can begin to challenge and change them. Because awareness is the first step. Awareness is those stepping stones into that greatness and into that beautiful space of communication where our relationships need to be. And then that practicing of empathy and compassion, what we led into with regards to our episode today. All those key elements, the master keys that was given to you in the discussion, have to be put into place. Because if you lose one of those keys when we're dealing with ego, unfortunately, that door cannot be locked. That door cannot be hinged. That door cannot be even put into place because you've lost the master key. So in turn, you don't know how to act in that space and place of practicing empathy and compassion because you don't have the master key. So it behooves us to hold on to our keys. And then we have to be willing to choose. See, that's one thing with humans. We have given that beautiful power of choice. Choice is so powerful. We have to choose love over fear. Now I gotta tell you that there, I love it when there's certain things in a discussion or certain things that I start talking about that vibrate at that decimal that is so deafening. This one is the one that I love because the choice that we're given the opportunity to make the right choices. We can choose to lead with love. So love and fear are often seen as opposing forces. and one rooted in connection and abundance, and the other is separated in sacrifice or scarcity. It's constant scarcity. Thank you. When faced with challenges or uncertainties in your relationship, we have to be cognizant and consciously choose love over fear instead of allowing fear to drive you into reacting viciously or even defensively and withdrawing your emotions or dangling them like something they have to earn with every little morsel tidbit. And we have to lean into love as a source of strength, courage, and resilience. That's powerful. So, look, I told you, I'm not going to keep you long. I was going to try to lean into the 30 minutes or less section. It is Friday. You know, you've been with me for the pre-show, the post, the main event, and now the post dessert hour. Hope that you all really have enjoyed this discussion and really can see how powerful it really is. This season, I think we're really going to be stepping into some dynamic things, and, I really want you all to make sure that you are a part of our Whisperers community, because I have to tell you guys, we're doing some dynamic things. We have a beautiful journal called the Whisperers Exchange. There's a live link that's in the description box as well as in the comments. Make sure that you subscribe because we're doing some great things. We're going to be bringing some new things into our space too. And then on top of it, I want you to make sure that you're following us even on our Instagram page. There are some new things that are coming to you this month, coming into like the middle of the latter half of this month, coming into next month. You're going to see it. It's going to be a regular series that's going to actually be happening and taking place. And we're trying to decide if we're going to be making it a Monday thing or what day we're going to put it in, or maybe we'll put it like probably either Monday or Tuesday onto Whispers in a Bottle. So make sure that you're following us at Whispers in a Bottle _podcast, because you're not going to miss it. We got some things coming for you guys. It's exciting to me. I'm working on a lot of things, and literally, I have to tell you that even working inside of my agency, doing the show and all, I can't be ego. I can't lead with ego, because if I led with ego, literally nothing that I'm trying to birth or bring forward would happen, because I know that I can't do it alone, and that it takes a tribe and it takes a lot of work within my team and people and even ideas, even my family sacrificing time and things with me um, to be able to do this. And so, in turn, Whispers, I want you to realize that when we really are leaning into identifying the impact of ego on our relationships, we have to be willing to own our part. We have to be willing to see ourselves. And impact of ego can even go out as far as uh, your extended family, your extended friends. And if you notice that your friends are not like coming to you to talk to you about certain things, or maybe they're like, well, you always, well, how you know how you are. If that's one of those comments, you really need to do the necessary work and the exercise that I just gave you, because you don't want to be the how you are, that you are not even tapping in to a deeper quality, an intimate relationship, a beautiful stance with those that really matter in your life. And you may be even put into a place and space where you can be such a powerful and impactful person to someone who needs to connect with you, but because your ego is coming first and your bravado is so big, you miss out on that opportunity. You miss out on the opportunity of making a dynamic impact on a person and connecting in such a beautiful way that you could be used as a beautiful instrument in someone else's life and their journey. So I just wanted to impart that with you before I wrapped up. I thank you all for always spending your life seconds with me because I truly value it. It's humbling to know that you come over here and you sit here and you talk with me, you put your comments in a chat, you support me. Let me tell you, that is humbling because anyone who does what we do, we know that we cannot be successful without your support. We know it. And when we have the support like this, it means everything to us. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I look forward to us connecting again next week with another dynamic discussion. We're leaning all the way into understanding the ego this season. Welcome to our show, and thank you for attending Whispers in a Bottle Grown Talk Cocktail Fridays, the post show. My name is Sonya LaRae. I'm a lifestyle relationship counselor, fashion psychologist, educator, holistic health and wellness consultant, and motivational speaker. And by far, I'm always honored to say that I am the host of Whispers in a Bottle that is live every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, located at blogtalkradio.com/whispers in a bottle. And if you missed our live broadcast, do not worry because you can catch it wherever you listen to your replays. So, wherever you get your podcast, be it from iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, we are there. So, I look forward to connecting with you guys again. Don't forget to connect with us over on Instagram at whispersinabottle_podcast. You guys have a beautiful weekend. Spend some quality time doing the exercise and the homework, but don't forget, spend some quality time with those that you love and choose love over fear. All right, guys, talk to you later.